that there are generations of culture that are going to end? Or are you going to do the wrong thing and rubber stamp this DES despite its obvious shortcomings and omissions? This DEIS does not have a mitigation plan for fishermen and seafood businesses that are going to be harmed. Plain and simple. There is no plan. This DES does not have a legitimate monitoring plan to determine the impact those turbines and these cables will have on the fish, the squid, the conch, the lobsters, striped bass, and dozens of other species that migrate through this area. Plain and simple. There is no legitimate monitoring plan. Vineyard Wind has played a game up to this point. They have delayed the creation of a mitigation plan and a legitimate monitoring plan, hoping that they can convince you that they will take care of it later, that you can trust them, that everything will work out fine. It shouldn't work this way. You shouldn't allow a foreign country to ram through a project so that they can meet their deadline for tax credits. You need to force them to take care of the U.S. citizens that will be harmed. You need to force them to put together a legitimate mitigation plan and a legitimate monitoring plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Turn it over to Brian to talk about monitoring.
Yes, no, thank you very much for your comment, and we definitely appreciate any comments you have on what you'd like to see in a monitoring plan or what you'd like to see in a mitigation plan. There are a lot of details left out, as you've noted, in the DEIS as far as what the details of a monitoring plan or mitigation plan look like. Those are still being actively discussed on exactly how those will look and what the priorities are going to be. So that's definitely part of what we're looking for comments on through this DEIS process. But there will be mitigation and monitoring associated with this project. But as you mentioned, we're still working out the details on what exactly that will be. So I appreciate any additional feedback you might have on what you'd like to see in that.
And I touched on this earlier, but through the code, the CCMA process is probably how a lot of this is going to get incorporated. So if Rhode Island comes back with a consistency, approving the consistency certification and has conditions, then those conditions could include that monitoring and compensation element. They would be incorporated and we would enforce those. And then Massachusetts as well, if they do that through their consistency process, then that's a way we could do it and record it. And absent of the consistency process, kind of doing it that way, we could also just do it through terms and conditions of plan approval, and that would be reflected in our final environmental impact statement and then recorded in our record of decision.
Okay, Nicola's next, and